Hello and welcome to PSM Speak. The Finance Minister announced setting up of a high-level banking committee for Viksit Bharat. What is this committee? What is it going to do? Is it for the benefit of the people? What the government says, the terms of reference have yet to come. Pending that, what we hear from the government circle is to strengthen the regulatory framework, institutional ecosystem, and globally competitive banks to reach to the goal of Viksit Bharat of 2047. Whatever that means, is it for the benefit of the people? The same question again, like the Gandhiji's talisman. You recall the face of that weak, meek, and ask yourself if it benefits that poor person, then your scheme or program is right. Does this mean that it is for strengthening the reforms? What kind of reforms? We have been observing reforms even from the British time, pre-independence. And naturally, whatever the banking reforms by the British government were, mostly in the colonial interest. I don't need to elaborate the character of that government. After independence from 1947 onwards, banking reforms were taken on priority to reach out to the people, the poor, the farmers in the rural areas. A big bank, State Bank of India, was set up to go out to the rural areas and establish banks in the rural areas. Then several other measures were taken, setting up banking commission, though not nationalizing the banks, having social control of the banks, directing the credit. These things were also experimented for the benefit of the people. But when it was observed in 1969 that these measures were not sufficient, that the flow of credit to agriculture, small farmers was not adequate, to the poor not adequate, the government nationalized the banks in 1969. Then, even that measure also not being satisfactory, another set of nationalization, all right. But in between, a specialized banking system, regional rural banks were set up in 1975 to help only to the small farmers, marginal farmers, agricultural laborers, rural poor, all those below poverty line, the retail traders, the street vendors, the hawkers, everybody below poverty line and helping them. So a concept of social banking, whatever the assets created through the lending was taken as the collateral to be created, the assets to be created, not based on assets, not based on collateral. That was the reform. But unfortunately, further reforms after 1990 were, it's not social banking, but more important was commercial strengthening of the banks. As a result of this, what happened in 1969, when the banks were nationalized, only 22.2% of the branches in the early days of nationalization could reach to the rural areas. The number of branches I am talking about, 22.2%. That enhanced to 58.2% by 1990. But when the other reforms, the commercial strengthening of the banking, commercial viability, then the number of bank branches has come down. This is 2024-25 figure I am giving to you. 33%. Despite claims, the agriculture today is dependent on non-institutional sources, private borrowings up to 35 to 40%. The medium, small, micro enterprise, MSME, a key segment in Indian economy. That sector is not getting adequate institutional credit. Only to the extent of 20% of MSMEs are able to get credit. Their credit requirement unfulfilled stands at 30 lakh crore despite so much bank expansion. Why in general? How much is the informal credit? That is the credit from sources other than banking system. If you get 1 rupee from banking system, 2.63 to rupees 63 paisa from sources other than the banking. 2.63 time or 263% of the credit requirement of the people is coming not from the banks, from private sources. You know the mischief played by online lenders, fake apps, loan apps, and people committing suicide, not being able to repay the loan, which shows that the credit is not reaching to the poor in adequate quantity, which means the reform should be to reach to the people, to cover those not covered yet, to fill the gap, existing gap. But this high level banking committee for Viksit Bharat, its scope doesn't seem to be so. Let's wait for the terms of reference of this committee and see if it works towards strengthening of weaker sections credit, strengthening of the credit and banking facilities to the poor. Thank you so much for so patiently watching this video. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it already. As you know, subscription is free, but it greatly encourages me to get to you more videos of this type and more frequently. Thank you.